Well, mahalo as we look at OKO Wrist Lock number 7. As the opponent comes in, it's at 12 o'clock in our green zone. It's going to be their right hand to our left hand grab. As he grabs, once again this is a when-then. When he grabs, then we respond. Step back to my right. I'm going to pull down and in. This is going to be push-pull as I strike, the distraction strike. I'm going to circle the hand up, bringing his arm into a vertical outward block position, but creating that negative body posture. As I bring the arm up, my right hand is going to grab behind his, putting the thumb right in between the two middle fingers. There's a pressure point right there. All you need to do is take your hand and rub it in between those two finger bones, and it hurts. You're going to create the first part of the butterfly. Once you've created the first part of the butterfly, go against their thumb and remove your hand. That also then replaces and creates the butterfly position behind their hand, controlling them. What you're going to now do is rotate counterclockwise. So you've got their arm like this, but it's in the butterfly. You're going to move it counterclockwise to adjust their height, their width, and their depth to be able to throw them down. So how are we going to do that? I'm going to point my thumbs and continue moving them from 12 o'clock towards 10:30 or maybe even 10 o'clock as I then step through reverse with my left foot to make room for them to point the fingers now then down towards the ground to drive them down towards the ground, pointing their elbow to the sky. Once they are there, I'm going to use a close kneel to pin them to the ground. Follow-up strikes, step, crossing, cover out at a 45-degree angle from my opponent. With that, this has been OKO Wrist Lock number 7. Aloha, mahalo. Welcome back as we look at some related techniques to wrist lock number 7. We don't want what are called unintended consequences. In American Kempo, there is a technique called locked wing. And in locked wing, let's say, for instance, we put our hand on our opponent's chest. They rotate our hand and get us into a thumb lock. Or let's say we have our hand up and they grab the thumb and place it close to their chest. So for instance, I'm going to grab my own thumb and bring it to my chest as the defense. How are we going to get out of that? That's exactly the position that we're putting our opponent in wrist lock number 7, right? As they grab, we're going to bring our arm up and out, bringing them to this position. In the defense in American Kempo, what we do is we push their arm, their controlling arm, into their body, causing them to release our hand. So for instance, I'm here as the defender. I'm going to push their arm into them, and that allows my elbow to take up the room, and I do an upward elbow into their sternum. From there, I can respond by taking out their legs. So when we're doing wrist lock number 7, we have to cancel the second arm. In other words, when we're pointing their fingers towards 10 o'clock, we need to make sure that we do so fluidly as to throw the second arm away from them. If we do not control them in a timely manner, this arm can either strike or it can control our arm, negating the lock that we've just created. We don't want lock wing to become the catalyst for them to respond with us. So for instance, I do the grab, I end up in this position. I do not want to see any of us having that be the response. When we're doing these techniques, we need to think of unintended consequences. That is one of a potential unintended consequence for OKO Wrist Lock number 7. With that, welcome back as we look at OKO Wrist Lock number 7 concepts and principles. So once again, we're going to be using a distraction strike. So we step back, push and pull, causing the distraction strike to bring them into the strike, causing a cancellation of their second arm, because what happens when you get smacked in the face? You want to bring up your hands to protect them. It's a natural response. So once again, once we're grabbed, we're going to either pin or re-grab. we want to get our hand out of their hand by removing it through the thumb gate. So as we strike, bring the hand upward and outward like a vertical outward block or an extended outward block, exposing the thumb. Remember, we're going to grab with the right hand, putting our thumb at the back of his hand. Now, as you strip your hand, you can re-grab so that you have the butterfly position. So we have then, from there, we're going to create a 6-point lock from the hand to the wrist, to the elbow, to the shoulder, to the takedown. So what concepts and principles are here in OKO Wrist Lock number 7? So modifying our opponent's height, width, and depth, giving us time, which we see in each and every one of these techniques. We see a negative body posture once their arm is in the vertical outward position, and we continue to rotate counterclockwise, and it creates that negative body posture. We have the butterfly grasp and control of the wrist. Once again, the thumb is the gate of the hand in stripping our wrist out of his grasp. We have the 6-point lock, which allows us to take him down. We also have the pressure point, as I mentioned, right in between as I get closer. If you take the hand and right in between the middle fingers, if you go right in the middle of the hand, you press on both sides as a nice pressure point for you. So when you're doing the butterfly, having both thumbs be in the middle of the hand and controlling. You want your pinky to be down here towards the bottom of the wrist and pushing the fingers forward with your thumbs. And then we also have, at the very beginning, the distraction strike. Tons of stuff here in Blue Belt, here in OKO Wrist Lock number 7. Stay tuned for Wrist Lock number 8.